Your $29.99 shelf funds a billion-dollar tax loophole. Inside every IKEA, that same shelf looks like an innocent bargain. The prices are a masterclass in affordability. $99.99 for a sofa, promising that homeownership isn't a luxury but a right. Yet, the real cost of this revolution isn't measured in dollars spent by shoppers, but in the billions that slip through the cracks of the global tax system, untouched by the hands of governments. The numbers are staggering: $40 billion. Over 2 decades, IKEA has avoided paying this sum in taxes. Not through illegal means but through a legal labyrinth so clever it left economists and tax authorities baffled. This isn't a story of greed or deception. It's the tale of a company that turned tax avoidance into an art form. A fortress built stone by stone with the approval of governments and the silence of the public. The irony is almost too perfect to bear. While customers celebrate their savings on a Billy bookcase, the parent foundation, IKEA Holding B.V., collects billions in royalties, shielded from taxes by a structure so opaque that even the most seasoned tax experts struggle to unravel it. This isn't just a corporate strategy. It's a quiet rebellion against the very systems that built IKEA's success in the first place. Beneath the cheerful facade of IKEA's global empire lies a corporate machinery that operates from a single postal address in Delft, Netherlands. This isn't just an office. It's the nerve center of a financial empire that controls hundreds of stores, thousands of employees, and a supply chain that spans continents. Yet, the physical presence is so modest that it could easily be mistaken for a local accounting firm. No towering headquarters, no grand offices, just a quiet building that holds the keys to billions. How does a company that appears to pay almost no corporate income tax remain untouchable and universally admired? The answer lies in a legal architecture so clever it confounds even the most astute tax authorities. IKEA didn't just build a retail empire. It constructed a financial fortress, one that has stood the test of time, scrutiny, and public outrage. The question isn't whether it's legal, it's how such a structure could be built in the first place. The seeds of this empire were planted decades ago, when a young Ingvar Kamprad, selling matches by bicycle in rural Sweden, dreamed of a company that would change the world. His vision was simple: affordable homes for everyone. But the financial time bomb he set off in the 1970s would only detonate decades later, revealing a structure so complex it would outlast its founder and confound the very systems he relied upon. For years, IKEA walked away from tax disputes and parliamentary inquiries unscathed. News headlines flashed across screens. Tax disputes, investigations, and inquiries. But each time, IKEA emerged victorious, its structure unshaken. The public never knew how close they came to unraveling the truth, how near they were to exposing the financial genius that kept IKEA's tax bill at zero, while its revenue rivaled the GDP of small nations. IKEA's revenue isn't just a number, it's the equivalent of the GDP of a small European nation, the power of a company that democratized homeownership. Yet, its effective tax rate hovered near zero for years, a stark contrast to the high taxes paid by its customers and the very governments that built the infrastructure supporting its global supply chain. How could such a disparity exist without consequence? Was this a stroke of genius? A legal masterstroke that allowed IKEA to outlast competitors and maintain its flat-pack pricing for generations? Or was it a quiet rebellion against the social contract that Sweden's welfare state depends on? The answer lies in the hands of Ingvar Kamprad, a man who built an empire on the promise of affordability while constructing a financial fortress that would shelter billions from the very taxes that funded the systems he relied upon. The story of IKEA isn't just about furniture or retail. It's about power, control, and the quiet transfer of wealth from the public to a secretive foundation. The same company that promised to bring homes to everyday people built a financial architecture that ensured its wealth would live free, untouched by the hands of governments or the scrutiny of the public. The question remains: was this innovation or a quiet betrayal? The freeze frame lingers on the IKEA Holding B.V. logo, a symbol of the financial empire that controls IKEA. To understand how the structure was built, we must go back to the beginning. A young boy in rural Sweden, a bicycle full of matches, and a dream that would one day shape the global economy. The roots of this empire run deep, and the story of its creation is as fascinating as the financial fortress it would become. The legend of IKEA began with a simple promise: affordable homes for everyone. But beneath the cheerful facade lies a financial architecture so intricate it would redefine the rules of global commerce. The question is, how did a company that promised to democratize homeownership build a fortress that shelters billions from the very taxes that fund the systems it relies upon? The answer lies in the hands of a young boy, a bicycle, and a dream that would one day become a global empire. In the rural Swedish countryside, 1943, a young Ingvar Kamprad, with a determination to succeed, sold matches by bicycle. A humble beginning that would eventually give rise to the IKEA empire. Kamprad's early struggle was marked by war rationing, rural poverty, and the embarrassment of buying goods wholesale, which forced him to think differently from the start, leading to the birth of a mail-order company. The true origin of the IKEA name is an acronym of Kamprad's initials and his family farm. A personal stake that made every financial decision intimate and defensive, a unique characteristic that would shape the company's future. The first conflict for IKEA was the boycott by Swedish furniture cartels, which triggered Kamprad's lifelong war against established interests, a battle that would shape the company's destiny and lead to its global success. The little-known 1960s meeting that set the tax strategy in motion was Kamprad's frustration with Swedish high taxes and his search for ownership structures that would let IKEA outlive him, a decision that would have far-reaching consequences. The early 1970s decision to transfer ownership of the IKEA brand to a tax-exempt Dutch foundation was a move that confused even Kamprad's closest advisors, a decision that would have significant implications for the company's future. The key advisors and legal minds who shaped the structure were instrumental in feeding Kamprad's belief that the end of high taxes justified creative legal frameworks, a decision that would have far-reaching consequences. The human cost of Kamprad's decision was the invisible rift between the founder's humble persona and his corporate empire, a paradox that would have significant implications for the company's future. We upload videos like this every day. Subscribe so you don't miss out. Television. The archival images of late 1970s IKEA stores expanding across Europe were the company's success, but they also masked a financial engineering project that would have significant implications for the company's future. The moment the original Stichting INGKA Foundation was created in the Netherlands in 1982 was a significant event that would have far-reaching consequences for the company's future, a decision that would be instrumental in shaping the company's destiny. The legal novelty of a non-profit foundation that owns a for-profit furniture giant was a unique characteristic that would have significant implications for the company's future, a decision that would be instrumental in shaping the company's destiny. The strategic move of adding the Dutch sandwich layer, which allowed royalties to flow from every IKEA store to a shell company in Luxembourg or the Netherlands, was a decision that would have significant implications for the company's future. The same ingenuity that democratized design was now being weaponized against national tax systems, a paradox that would have significant implications for the company's future. As the structure grew more complex, it attracted the attention of the European Commission and investigative journalists, setting the stage for a public reckoning, a decision that would have significant implications for the company's future. A sprawling network of offices, warehouses, and stores stretches across continents. Yet, the true power lies unseen, hidden behind a single postal address in Delft, Netherlands. Every IKEA store, from Stockholm to Sydney, operates under the same legal illusion: a franchise agreement that shifts profits to a shell company. The Dutch sandwich begins with a 3% franchise fee from every store, a small cut, but multiplied by thousands of locations. This fee flows first to a Dutch subsidiary, then to a Luxembourg holding company. The profits vanish before any tax authority can reach them. The final layer, a Dutch foundation, legally a charity, owns the entire structure. No taxes, no dividends, just a perpetual machine of wealth accumulation. Experts call it the most sophisticated tax structure ever built, a legal labyrinth that even the IRS would struggle to penetrate. The foundation's assets ballooned to over $40 billion by 2015, yet it spent less than 1% on actual charity. The genius of the structure. It wasn't just about taxes. It was about control. The Kamprad family could never be bought out or forced to sell. The same people sat on both the foundation's board and the operating company's board. A web of interlocking directorships ensured no one could challenge the system. The Dutch government even issued comfort letters, legally binding guarantees that the structure would remain tax-exempt, a green light to keep the machine running. While other multinationals used similar strategies, none matched IKEA's scale. The company became the poster child for aggressive tax planning. No court ever ruled it illegal. Tax authorities clawed back only a fraction of what was lost. The system was too clever to dismantle. The Kamprad family trust sat outside the foundation. It ensured his descendants could direct the empire without ever owning its assets. By 2015, the foundation held over $40 billion. It was one of the world's wealthiest charities. Yet it gave away less than 1% of its assets. This wasn't just a tax shelter. It was a philosophical weapon. IKEA's flat-pack pricing and longevity were built on this financial fortress. The masterstroke that made IKEA untouchable would soon become its greatest liability. The public scrutiny would turn genius into scandal. A quiet revolution begins in Brussels. 2012. A leaked email lands on a desk. Inside, a team of investigators reads lines like royalties channeled through Luxembourg and tax rulings in the Netherlands. The documents reveal the Dutch sandwich, a structure so complex it bends tax laws like spaghetti. The European Commission calls it a tax sham. Protests erupt in Stockholm and Paris. Families who once loved IKEA now demand answers. Inside IKEA's headquarters, a boardroom debate rages. Some whisper, "This is over." Ingvar Kamprad, now 93, flies economy class to defend his legacy. He insists, it is not tax evasion, it is smart business. The EU's anti-tax avoidance directive begins to close the loopholes Kamprad mastered. IKEA's reputation fractures. Analysts warn of billions lost in goodwill. In 2016, IKEA announces a concession, effective tax rate 3%. Critics call it a bitter pill. The structure remains, just less hidden. Kamprad dies in 2018. Funeral eulogies praise his vision, never his tax strategy. The legacy lingers. Every new IKEA store opening now faces scrutiny. The question lingers too. Who really owns IKEA? No one. And in that emptiness, billions live free. What is the dark truth behind this event? Share your theory below and watch our next investigation. Hi everyone. Quick reminder. Subscribe for high-quality daily content. Sparkles Part 2 is dropping tomorrow. Subscribe for notifications. Loudspeaker.